Are you really, really ready for this? $750 twins versus 600 fours. As only Fast Bikes knows how. More Death Star than lifestyle. It all started back in January, when we took the 99 class of 600s to Leluc. And it didn't take long before we realised that these bikes were so fast, so nimble, so balanced, and so downright crazy that they could truly take on the 750 twins, just as in fact the Supersport class regulations allow for in every European competition except Britain. More to the point, as the 604 versus 750 twin is also one of the most common retail dilemmas, we thought the best thing for all concerned was if we pitched the Ducati 748 and 748 SPS against the GSXR, the CBR, the R6 and the ZX6 on the track, in the mountains, down the motorways, on the dyno and at the top speed strip to see if the 750s really do have the beating of these amazing 600s.
Okay. Yeah.
It's no wonder most of us couldn't work out how Ducati were going to beat a 185 kilogram 110 bhp 4 with a 195 kilogram 108 bhp twin. But they could, because they knew the Japanese lied flagrantly about weight statistics.
98 and a half. Rear 94 and a half. 99 kilos.
The most accurate way to see what they really tip the scales at is to literally tip the scales. The bathroom scales, to be precise, though you'll need two, of course. And as we can see, things aren't quite as claimed. Because in reality, the Kawasaki and the Suzuki are both nearer 190 kilograms than their claims of the upper 170s.
Rear 96 and a half.
In fact, only the R6, and to a lesser extent the CBR, even gets in the 180 kilogram division.
And the front is 92 kilos. Okay, that'll do. All right.
But if the weights are a surprise, the horsepower figures are an absolute shock. This is Ian, looking for the elusive 118 bhp. Not to mention the elusive revs. At this stage, we're still about 20 brake horsepower short of Yamaha's claim.
The rev limiter is coming in way before it gets to the red line. That's why the curve falls off. See, look, it goes up in a straight line and hits the rev limiter. But it's hitting the rev limiter at 14,250 and it's red line from 15,5.
Ditto the CBR, which though not quite as allegedly dependent on the forced air system, doesn't put out 100 brake horsepower at the rear wheel. And of course the Suzuki barely breaches 90 brake horse, so that despite the grandiose claims of all four major manufacturers, it's long been accepted by those in the know that even John Crawford's 600 British Championship bike was only putting out 113 bhp at the rear wheel last year. And even this season, the best factory-supported Hondas or Kawasaki's have yet to genuinely break the 120 horsepower barrier. One bike did break the 100 bhp threshold though, the Ducati 748 SPS.
Sort those revs out.
We'll let the man himself explain.
You see why it does, they go quite well in that trolley class. Most stock 600s don't make 100 horsepower.
Next, it's the timing strip to see how the dyno figures equate to real-life top speeds.
Right, we're going to do some 0 to 60 tests, standing quarter miles, that sort of thing. To do that, we use a data logger, which picks its information up from this optoelectric sensor on the rear wheel. The way this works is to count the spokes as they go by. We know the rolling diameter of the wheel. From that we can work out the speed of the wheel, therefore the speed of the bike. Also by counting the number of revolutions we know how far it's gone from a standing start, so that's how we do the standing quarter miles. This feeds into a data logger mounted on the back of the seat, contains enough memory for about 20 runs. So we'll have a go with a few of them, then download it into a laptop and see what they look like. It's all clever stuff this, you know. Jeremy Clarkson can't do this.
Of course, the best way to get the best out of the bikes is to pit two riders against each other, as well as two machines. And as you can see, things are pretty tight whichever way you look at it, and whichever bikes you pair. Except, of course, the one that Shaky's on. And the slightest advantage in the first 10 metres builds up into quite a lead after a mile and a half of full acceleration. One thing was indisputable beyond doubt, that the theory that the R6 has no mid-range is a myth. In fact, it's got by far the best mid-range out of the fours and trounced everything else, no matter who was riding it. This mid-range advantage was amply demonstrated against the ZX6, which did have the edge from a standing start, however. Once into the mid-range though, the sort of area that most of us ride at, the R6 clobbered everything. And against the Suzuki, it was positively embarrassing. However, every bike meets its match, and the 748 SPS just waltzed away from everything, demonstrating why it's also done so in the production series in the UK this year. Against the ZX6, which was probably the gutsiest of the fours, the 748 still blitzed away. As the man says.
A fucking 748 is fast! Oh, that was fucking nailed. This cunt was only reading about 150 though.
Not quite how Jeremy Clarkson might have put it perhaps, but top speed-wise the Duke was also good, and certainly better than the GSXR, and within 2 to 3 miles per hour of all the others. 157 mile an hour, after all, is only about 8 mile an hour shy of the 996 SPS.
I got pedal dash that time. I'm putting this on.
$152 for the GSXR. $159 for the R6, which still equated to over 140 at the back straight at Snetterton. The ZX wasn't far short of it. 158 was its best, which again equated to 140 at Snetterton. But the surprise winner wasn't the awesome R6, but the all-round CBR, the only bike out of the 6 to broach 160 miles an hour.
159 on that one. Fastest so far, 160.
The radar gun does not lie. But when it comes down to it, there's no place like France to see how the bikes really feel flat out on the road. You couldn't even do this sort of speed on two wheels in the UK without getting arrested. And this has just about got to be the world wheelie record for a 600. 45 seconds at 45 degrees, 140 mile an hour in fifth. Now that's what you call a wheelie.
Right, I went first, like second, third, got into fourth, and then I got to this point, and like 13 and a half, 14, it was as if the bike didn't go no faster, so I didn't need to change gear. It was literally just like keeping it there at 13 and a half and weren't moving at all. And then like, I got a bit quicker, ran out of res, so I snipped fifth, and then like shortly after fifth it went down.
Fucking awesome.
That was a long one, wasn't it?
That was awesome, yeah, that was wicked.
My, aren't the boys pleased with themselves? Guess they've earned the right to a slap-up meal.
Oh yeah! Radical.
And if there's one place Shakey's guaranteed to stunt for his dinner, it's the McDonald's car park. The kids just haven't got a clue who they're taking on.
Oh yeah! Oui! All that shit. Oui! Yeah, in a minute. You are the daddy!
Got any sisters? Oh, we are the daddies in McDonald's car parks. Yeah.
Suitably fueled, the boys head for the hills. All this, of course, was a preview to the sort of sort-out they can't hide from, the track, at the notoriously tight and twisty Lebanon circuit, where handling is at an absolute premium. Lebanon actually comprises two circuits. This is the outside one, which, as well as being tight and twisty, is also normally very dusty and dirty. Put it this way, it's best to bring your own broom. From the outside to the inside circuit. This is where it all gets a bit serious. As Shaky backs a ZXR in on the rear brake, you can see how the GSXR, down on power though it may be, is able to make up most of the ground through the turns. Again, round the corners, the GSXR could pass the quack anywhere it fancied. Shaky concludes the dogfight in the customary fast bites tradition. Wondered why the manufacturers fitted limiters? Round 2, and this time it's the GSXR and the R6.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you tosser!
Or maybe that's Frosty versus Shaky?
Like, I've just come straight out of the pits on cold tires, dude. Let's build it up gradually. Save on the high sides.
Even against the mighty R6, the GSXR wasn't phased. And what it lost down the straights, it was very nearly able to make back up round the corners. As for the ZX6, well, the soft suspension was always going to make it struggle. Especially against a CBR Honda fitted with Dunlop 207s. Equipped like this, the CBR could have taken the ZX6 on just about any part of the circuit. That is, with the exception of the straight, where the Kawasaki exhibited awesome drive. Perhaps the most surprising thing at the track was how little difference there was between the 748 and the 748 SPS. And being the slowest turners of the lot, how much they struggled against the 4s, which all steered quicker at this particularly twisty circuit. Don't worry though, on the road, all was redeemed for the Ducatis. And after just a few passes over the passes, it became obvious that the 748 SPS and the R6 just about had the edge over everything else. the other hand, maybe it wasn't that they had the edge, so much as the fact that they allowed you to get nearer the edge. Hardly surprising, because roads don't come any more demanding than the perimeter road of the Ardèche. Don't take it from us. See it for yourself. The road round the gorge has some of the most spectacular views and drops we've ever encountered. This stretch is worth a holiday all on its own, and if you're going to the south of France, be sure to stop off at Pont Saint-Esprit near Orange and check it out. 30 kilometers of breathtaking sweepers. And when we say breathtaking, we mean breathtaking. Just listen to Rob.
Holy fuck. Jesus.
As you can see, the boys ain't playing. And one lapse of concentration in terrain like this, and this is where it could all end up. Having survived, the boys allow themselves a little celebration. Here's Shane, of course, proving that the 748 SBS is the true wheelie king. All stunts completely under control, of course.
Frosty surfing.
And here's Frost demonstrating the R6's balance is a hell of a lot better than his. At least the boys thought they'd survive. That is, until we told them they had to do it all over again, the other way. But if you're looking for an ultimate winner in this class, you're going to have to pick your own. As far as we're concerned, however, we just couldn't split the two bikes you can see here. And that's why, every morning on this particular trip, the two sets of keys that disappeared off the table first belong to the Yamaha R6 and the Ducati 748 SPS. And finally, introducing without a doubt the nuttiest bike video we've ever made. The world's first 200 mile an hour road test. GSXR 1300 versus the CBR Super Blackbird versus the Yamaha 1 versus the Kawasaki ZZR 1100, all the way from Calais to Cannes.